Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy Lewis back on the Lewis Basketball Network, and I have breaking news for y'all. This just in: Kevin Durant is the best player in the world. Wait, what? Oh, Kevin Durant is the best player in the world. You're probably saying to yourself, no, Lewis, he's not the best player in the world, because until he goes to another team and he's the main catalyst on a championship team and he leads that team to a championship, he's not the best player in the game. I think different, and here's why. He did it with the Golden State Warriors. Now you're going to say to yourself, well, he's playing with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and now DeMarcus Cousins. But let's be real here. When you look at KD and when you look at Steph Curry is the engine. He's my favorite player. Steph Curry is the most impactful player on the court. That's questioned because you see how they struggle because their offensive style changes when Curry's not on the floor, and that's because Curry is the system. But let's also remember this. Remember that the Golden State Warriors gutted their entire bench to get Kevin Durant. Now, I'm going to repeat myself. I've said it before. LeBron James and Kevin Durant did not win championships without joining 2+ All-Stars. So let me make that clear and let me be objective on that. Let me also say that in 2016, both KD and Russell Westbrook choked in that Western Conference Finals in 2016 after having a 3-1 lead. Number one, Kevin Durant did not shoot well the last 3 games. And number two, Russell Westbrook had the most turnovers in a 7-game series in NBA playoff history. So let's make that very clear. KD choked. And going to the Golden State Warriors was the weakest move for a superstar that had a 3-1 lead on the team that beat you to join. So let's make that very clear. But, Kevin Durant did not ride the coattails of the Golden State Warriors and said, guys, lead me to a championship to make my job easier. No, he didn't. What Kevin Durant did was he played within the flow, because if you understand this, Kevin Durant is a system player. Kevin Durant allows himself to be coached. Kevin Durant, yes, himself said, I did not know about basketball until I joined this Golden State Warriors team. That's absolutely correct. But you understand that if Steph Curry and the Warriors kept that same team with Harrison Barnes, they were not going to win another championship. You know why? Because look how much Harrison Barnes struggled. Look how much LeBron had to sag off on defense. And for people who saying that LeBron is the best player, let's be real. In 2016, for me at least, I know people are going to feel different, but this is just my opinion. LeBron James in 2016, when he won the championship, LeBron was already the best player in the game. Kevin Durant was on his coattails. He was close, but he wasn't there yet because he had not won. LeBron James was the best. And people need to understand this also. LeBron James thought that his move was going to guarantee him to dominate this decade of the 2010s as the best player in the game, to win all these championships and make the claim that not only do I dominate the East, I dominate the entire league. That all changed when Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. What that did was it prevented LeBron from winning championships, and it made this Golden State team damn near unbeatable only because Kevin Durant put them over the top. But that's because Steph Curry cannot get the type of shots. He cannot create the shots that Kevin Durant can create. And I'm going to make this very clear. Steph Curry is great. He's a 2-time MVP, multiple-time All-Star, won multiple rings. And the 2015 finals, that was some BS that Iguodala won that finals MVP over Steph Curry. That's BS. They only used that for the LeBron narrative, but that's a bunch of garbage. Steph Curry should have been finals MVP in 2015. But Steph Curry knows who the best player in the game is, and he knows who the best player on the team was going to be once Kevin Durant joined. Because Steph Curry, even though with Kevin Durant you could get in his head, you really can't take him off his game like that unless you get into Kevin Durant's head. And Kevin Durant's actually done a much better job being with Golden State in terms of being with the mental game. That is really hard to take him off his game. Steph Curry, once you get physical with him, he becomes passive. And then Curry at times gets lost, and then his decision-making becomes really bad when he's not affecting the game offensively with his 3-point shooting. Now, let me be clear. Curry can do more than shoot. He can drive to the basket, and I call Curry the most proficient rim finisher in the NBA. I'm going to say that again. Steph Curry is the most proficient rim scorer in the NBA when he drives to the basket. Curry has floaters, he can shoot the mid-range, but he cannot create the type of shots that Kevin Durant can. Look at that game against the Clippers, ladies and gentlemen. 38 first half points. The Clippers did everything they could, and they could not stop him. When KD is on like that, he is unstoppable, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Durant coming to the Warriors put them over the top because the Warriors were not going to win with that 73-9 team that they had. They had an unbelievable regular season. But let's remember, the bench, they played horrible the entire playoffs up until the finals when they went against Cleveland's bench and outscored them 190-89. I'm going to say that again. The bench played horrible in the entire postseason and until the finals where they outscored Cleveland's bench 190-89. But that was because the teams that they were playing, once Steph Curry got injured, there was no other guy on that team that could create their own shot. The bench is deep and they can shoot the rock. But again, it's all predicated to the system. See, none of those guys can create their own shot. That's why when Steph Curry goes out, it really hurts them. Now, when Steph Curry goes out, again, they become a more ISO team with Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant at times tends to get a little too ISO heavy. But that's because he's that good. But he even says, yeah, Steph Curry's better. He says Steph Curry's better than me. And I was like, in a sense, he was. But it was like the more I watched Golden State and look how thin their bench is. Remember, they gutted 7 players to get KD. And KD made their starting lineup arguably the best starting lineup in the NBA. KD is that good, ladies and gentlemen. And he makes your team that much better. KD became more potent offensively because you had to worry about the shooting. KD doesn't have to take that many shots. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason that Kevin Durant is the best player in the game, he's doing it at both ends of the floor. People saying, oh, but LeBron is still the best in the game because KD didn't lead a championship. Let's be real. LeBron was hand-gifted that 2016 finals. He was hand-gifted that. And once again, if you guys don't understand, go watch my 2016 NBA Finals video. I broke it down from games 1 through 7 as why the Cleveland Cavaliers got the championship that they got, okay? On another video, I will be doing 2015, so stay tuned for that and break that down. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say that Kevin Durant is the best. 2 years in a row, Kevin Durant gave Golden State the sizable advantage in Game 3s. In 2017, hit the shot of shots around the world in LeBron's face to give them a 1-point lead when Cleveland had a 2-point lead. The very next year, LeBron had Rodney Hood switched on to Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant pulled up from 35 and knocked that shit down. I said to myself, this guy's cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. Now you could say, oh, he plays with a great team and he's got with great shooters and all that kind of stuff. Russell Westbrook thought he was an alpha. He thought he was an alpha. As a matter of fact, I believe in the 2016 Western Conference Finals, he took more shots than Kevin Durant. And I asked myself, why are you thinking that you're the alpha of the team when the best player is Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant is better than you, Russ. So I bet he was in the front office's ear trying to say that he could prove that he's better than KD. And what's happened? 3 straight first-round exits. You got Carmelo, you got Victor Oladipo, you got Paul George. Listen, Victor Oladipo's doing really well in Indiana. You know, it is what it is, man. And this is what I'm telling y'all. Steph Curry is great. Excuse me. He's definitely one of the all-time greats. Definitely, no question. And Kevin Durant joining him, it made their team even that much harder to guard. But let's be real here. You take Kevin Durant off this team right now, it's a lot easier to guard Steph Curry because Klay Thompson, even though Klay's gotten better, he's still not a guy that could create his own shot. Draymond Green, forget about it. He's an offensive liability when you dare him to shoot. Now, Draymond looks really good, and the Draymond that I know he looks after getting himself in better shape. But Draymond is still an offensive liability, okay? And you still have to dare him to beat you. Iguodala, he's a utility guy. Sean Livingston, utility guy. They don't really have a 6-man. So once again, it becomes easier to defend Curry because he's who you garner your attention. But look how much they paid attention to Steph Curry, and they had no answer for Kevin Durant. That's the type of impact that Kevin Durant brings on your team. He makes you a more potent offensive team because Kevin Durant is a much potent, very potent and proficient offensive player. See, because Russell Westbrook, when I think of Russell Westbrook, he's like a great action movie. You know, it's gonna have entertainment, it's gonna have a lot of action, but it's never gonna be worth of an Oscar. Like that's Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's that chick that all of a sudden, like it gets big boobs, you know, she looks crazy hot, but her personality sucks. That's what Russell Westbrook reminds me in a nutshell. That's what he is. And that's why Kevin Durant, he's doing it at both ends of the floor. Look at the defense he played on Gallinari. Look how he was blocking shots in transition and in the half court. Kevin Durant is doing it at both ends of the floor. Now, as he said, it's a little bit easier because he's on Golden State and he can focus more on the defensive end. But see, it would be easy if Kevin Durant was just focusing on just scoring. No, Kevin Durant is playing defense, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why Kevin Durant, I said that the best player was up for grabs, but I realized that after 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, Kevin Durant is the best player in the game. Now, people are going to say, well, he needs to lead a team. I necessarily don't think so. If you look at his skill set, people are saying Giannis is not there yet. James Harden, limited offensively. Russell Westbrook, he's a beta. Paul George, beta. Kawhi Leonard, we have to wait and see. And yes, even with Kawhi Leonard, you have to understand we have to wait and see because, you know, he's having a great year right now, but we don't know what the end result is going to be for Giannis. We don't know what the end result is going to be for Harden. We don't know what the end result is going to be for Kawhi, for Kyrie. We already know what the end result is already with Paul George. He's already out the first round. And Russ and Paul George are 2 high-octane betas. Paul George signed with OKC to hide behind Russ because he knew that he was not going to be able to deal with the scrutiny if he was the main guy in Los Angeles or even in Oklahoma City. Because you see Russ is taking the brunt of the blame, and one part he deserves it, but let's not pretend like Paul George doesn't deserve a pass because he does not deserve a pass. And I've said it, even with the shoulder injury. I said, yes, he has a shoulder injury. But let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody told Paul George to dunk the basketball at the end of Game 3. Nobody told him to say that, that he sided with Russ and decided he wants that smoke against Damian Lillard and the Blazers. What happened? Late turnovers, missed free throws, even when he was hot. And you saw how salty Paul George was. It was just a bad shot. Well, dude, the person next to you took like 11 bad shots. I mean, you wasn't going to say that because you wasn't going to throw him under the bus, but Russ took bad shots. He made bad decisions in the 4th quarter after y'all built a 15-point lead. And it's like when you want that smoke, even if you're injured, he still played well. He had 36 points. There's no excuse. Like, even if you're injured, I understand that. But you chose to engage in a war. You decided to engage in a shouting match, in a battle. You won the battle in Game 3, but you ultimately lost the war in 5 games. And what did Damian Lillard do? Resistance to the enemy by not engaging in fighting. From Sun Tzu, Art of War. And y'all need to check out his quotes, man, because a lot of the quotes that he was talking about, it was very relative in that Oklahoma City Portland series. I mean, Dame Dollars is an intelligent brother. My man went to Sun Tzu, Art of War, to describe the series between him and Russell Westbrook and the difference between the two. And Russell Westbrook thinks he's an alpha, and he's not. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul George are your best players on the championship team. Kevin Durant proved to the world last night in Game 6 why he is the best player in the game. People are going to feel differently, but it's like I had to really study Kevin Durant and Steph Curry to really realize that KD is that good. And like I said, as much as the system runs through Curry, it's also a weakness too. And if Kevin Durant's not there, you would see how much Curry would have gotten exposed. Because then what happens is if he's not effective on offense, he's really not effective on the defensive end. And Curry is a solid defender. And I've defended Steph Curry for the longest. Just look at the 2018 Western Conference Finals last year. Steph Curry did a great job on James Harden and Chris Paul in possessions that he guarded. But Kevin Durant does it at both ends on the floor, and he's damn near unstoppable when he's scoring the ball like that. Come on, man. Coming off of curls, pulling up in transition, coming off the catch, off the screen, high post, low post, mid post, gets to the free throw line, drives, pulls up in the mid range. Kevin Durant is a shooter slash scorer. I'm going to say it again. Kevin Durant is a shooter slash scorer. Can shoot anywhere, can score anywhere on the floor. And that's why Kevin Durant is the best player in the game, in my opinion. He's the best in the world. So, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Lewis with another one, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that KD still has something to prove, or do you think he's the best in the world? After further proof last night and really studying KD and Steph Curry on this Warriors team and the way that the teams are constructed and why the bench is so thin now, this is why Kevin Durant is the best player in the game. I realize it. I see it now. I really do see it. And he's been the best player, I would say, the last 2 years. It's just I don't want to give credit. LeBron's only doing it on the offensive end, and he's doing it through his system. He's not playing defense anymore. He's not in his prime defensively. So let me know what you guys think. As always, bless up, one love, peace. Thanks for watching. KD is in his prime. That's the difference.